I'm Friedel Buecking. I've been working with these machines now for some 35 years and more. Now it is important, of course, to be safe with these things. So you need protection, or even if you work on the ground, you need a helmet, because the saw could, under certain conditions, jump up and damage your head. And it's important to wear gloves, because these are very sharp, these teeth, and you don't want to cut yourself. So well, here they are, lumps of wood which look a little bit like cats. And of course one could go on and work it finer. And in the early days when I made them, I did a lot of sanding on them. But what happened was, you lost sort of the character of it. You had, in the end, you worked on two cats. One absolutely sanded, and not as good as the early one, which had the character and is lost. Then I use a grinding wheel on top of this, and it would be suitable for wood which is proper dried out. This wood is fairly dry because I cut it about from a tree 2 years ago. It's poplar and it wouldn't crack any further, so one can make a smooth finish on it if one wanted to. If working with fresh wood, you always get shaking, what we call it, you get splits in it. But if you work the whole thing very fine and slim and thin, like these here for instance, that is done with absolute fresh wood. It was cut down in February, and I made it in March, April. But because it is open all over the place, the tension in the wood goes while it's drying, and then you get the chance of doing the shape you want without it splitting. But where the big bulk of the wood is, like here, look, you see that's where the cracks start, and you have to contend with them. But up here, where it's sort of worked everywhere to about an inch or half an inch, that will stay together. If you work with a living material, you have to allow it what it wants to do. And well, my daughter was 5 and now she is 40 odd, and I made her a duck. Yeah, smaller than those, but about the size of this one.
Yes.
And it was at the time when the elms were all felled.
Yes.
We lived in Highbury, and one day on the fields there were lots of ringed up things, and I saw one of these rings cut like a piece of orange, just the moon shape. And I thought, well, one could sit on it and rock. So I took it home and scooped it out a bit for her to sit on. And a year later I thought, well, if I carve a duck's head on one side, it would be a rocking duck. That was my first rocking duck.
That's a good one.
So it came from that duck, and from the work which my wife did at the time. She was we were doing children's activities on Highbury fields, and she would say, next week we need a life-size elephant. So this is how I got into sculpture.